really quick oracle message. It was from my Earth Warriors Oracle deck. I had pulled some cards for myself earlier, and I was really loving the message of Dadirri, hearing truth. And sometimes when I pulled these messages, especially recently, I was like, if I'm gonna pull for myself, I could just pull for you guys. But then I was like, I really just want this for me. I needed a moment to ground before even coming on live and connecting with you guys. So when I saw this card in particular, I just felt like this is the one I was drawn to sharing. So here is the message for the card. And the card is Dadirri, hearing truth. It's depicted with a woman with a bird looking like a dove over her head. It also has a butterfly and some sacred geometry symbolism. So it's really a beautiful card. Alana Fairchild put a lot of time and energy, and you could tell she connected to a lot of gods and goddesses as she created this deck. Just understanding the natural world, spirit, and wanting to create a message of light for the collective. So this is the card that I'll be reading about. And this is the guidebook that she has for the deck. As you guys see, I often link it below in my videos, and I often post these videos and then add the descriptions later. So if there is something that you're interested in the video, just check it out. So this message is going to be pretty quick. So here it says, Dadirri, hearing truth. There is a deeper truth that shall bring peace to your heart, offering you guidance, comfort, and renewal. You are guided to turn within for your answers. And we know that there's so much messages that are coming up in the collective constantly. So this might be a time to cut it off. I know you're listening to this message, and that's, I'm sure you're guided to. Thank you. But yeah, choose the messages you're listening to at this moment and only tap into, hi Kaylee, only tap into messages that you really feel inclined to. So it says, you are guided to turn inward for your answers. Do not allow another to interrupt, influence, or disrupt or distort your personal trusting relationship with the divine. Allow Great Spirit to be your highest counsel always, and you shall never be led astray. You shall know the words to speak and the consciousness to hold to evoke healing and set things straight. Listen, for deep within, truth is known. And then when this message comes up in a reading, here it says, focus on what you know to be true by tuning into what you feel and not focusing on appearances or the opinions of others. There's a voice of spirit deep within you. Anytime you want or need guidance, you have the ability to tune into that inner voice, bringing peace, comfort, and clarity. It takes courage to turn within rather than putting your faith in the people and things in this world, but you have enough inner strength and wisdom to do this. The truth within has been spoken. Trust that you can hear it. So, thank you, Kaylee. This is really about tuning into your inner ear, and this can be through grounding practices. I recently just talked about how I did a grounding practice and got sick because I sat on wet grass, so maybe don't do that. But definitely grounding with nature. I love to keep a lot of plants near me. I have my monstera. I also have my hyacinths in the corner. My grandma is named Hyacinth, and I also really love the bloom of blue hyacinths in particular. So I love keeping them around me, and they smell like powder. My aunt told me that. She's like, they smell really good. And then ever since she said that, randomly, I feel like when they decide to like bloom throughout the day, you know, or like, I guess, release fragrance, it just smells bomb. I'll just get random whiffs of this powdery, yummy smell. So let's continue. The spiritual guidance. It says, you have an intuitive ability to recognize truths of the spirit. Dadirri is an Australian Aboriginal term for the deep spiritual practice of reflective and respectful listening. So this is a card again. It is a deep listening for truth beyond physical words and their logical meaning. It is the way the shaman hears with the soul. So this is about receiving soul messages, listening in a way that is deeper, comprehending things that don't make sense to the logical mind. And in human design right now, we have gate 21 transiting the gate of control. And when we have the gate of control transiting, the shadow frequency is hunger. So there are people who are literally hungering. And I think it's interesting that we've been talking about, like, within the collective, when we see so many messages, no worries, yes, come back and listen. We hear people talking about how people can energy harvest, and energy harvesting is when you don't allow people to like go and have their time, and when you're choosing to create stories or keep information going that is negative and perpetuate those things to keep people in a cycle of needing you, needing information, etc. So when we have this shadow frequency, you're so welcome. So when we have the shadow frequency, we literally have the shadow frequency of those who are being controlled and those who are controlling. So the gift of this energy is being able to step into your personal authority, and that is so much what this is about. And specifically Dadirri, the Aboriginal term, which is this deep reflective listening, that's what it's about. It's about coming to your inner authority and knowing what works for you. So here it says, through the power of his or her own experiences, the shaman is able to create spiritual wisdom for the community, bringing balance and unity between the realm of Great Spirit and our earth. As one who holds the potential power of the shaman, it is part of your soul journey to seek out deeper meaning, to never assume the whole truth is revealed in what another says, and instead to listen carefully, sometimes even for the truth evidenced in what is not being said, but being communicated in other ways. Others will naturally be drawn to you for counsel, but you must be sure that loving wisdom is the source through which your counsel is gleaned. So really, really important. The people you're listening to as well, you want to make sure that they are giving counsel from a loving place. I have listened to so much recently on the news that I had to listen intuitively, say, Nicole, is this a message of love or fear? Is this perpetuating more fear in the world, or is this perpetuating more love in the world? And what do we actually need? If the information is given is not talking about taking decisive action or right action towards wrong behavior, then if we're just resharing and repurposing it for views, for clicks, is not necessarily going to bring us to the level of authority that we want to see for ourselves, which is really authority, control. And I'm going to actually read what Cheaton says in the Book of Lines, because I really love his snippet. It says, Gate 21, Control, the Hunter. The expression of willpower employs strategies to take charge on the material plane. So our control is really about how we want to create our world, our domain on the physical plane. So that is why it's so important that we mind our domain, because that is what we have control over and that's what we have authority over. And by doing so, it can help create more of that. But if we give our control and we live in the shadow states of being controlled by the status quo, by expectations, by the ego and will of others, then we don't actually live in our authority. So to finish up what it says here, it says, as one who holds the potential power of the shaman, it is part of your soul journey to seek out deep meaning, to never assume the whole truth is revealed in what another says, and instead to listen carefully, sometimes even for the truth, evidence in what is not being said, but being communicated in other ways. Others will naturally be drawn to you for counsel, but you must be sure that loving wisdom is the source through which your counsel is gleaned. Part of the shamanic life path involves mastery over the extremes of existence. Energetic highs followed by crushing fatigue, feeling taxed beyond your limits of body and mind, perhaps even an experience of near death or symbolic death of the personality, profoundly challenging illness in body or mind, or a period of spiritual darkness, which eventually leads you to healing rebirth. These are all possible ways that the shamanic soul can progress through its training. So part of your understanding your need for your authority can be through a debilitating situation. I know my postpartum experience where my physical body was so debilitated, I had to use my voice and I had to use other ways of showing control or implementing my authority when needed, because I knew that physically I wasn't a bit able to. So sometimes we'll get tested, and will be an initiation of understanding how can we step more in our power and how can we create more of what we want to see, because usually in those situations we are not seeing the support or getting the our needs met because we don't have the authority, and sometimes we can't be that authority. So this is part of what that is. It's knowing who we want to control us, and that could be knowing what political system we want in our lives, knowing who we want to be our partners in marriage, knowing who we want to take control of. Do we want to have children or not? These are all really good questions that we can be thinking about during this period. So it also says, such challenges are a form of initiation, teaching the soul to become able to consciously contain and channel energy according to its will. Because this now allows you to, oh, I didn't feel like I had control of that, so I want to actually prioritize controlling and taking hold of this area. In the Chinese I Ching, gate 21, the gate of control, is called taking hold or recourse. So this, or taking back. So this can be through small changes and small actions of now re-navigating. Oh, this didn't work. I hesitated on this. How can I fix it or amend it by doing this? So it says it takes time, but eventually the soul learns to live from a place of inner balance and spiritual grounding. The shaman is empowered to guide others through what has been mastered, moderating and containing what is required for healing. This evokes balance in the lives of those they touch. So part of the path of the shaman is being able to moderate yourself and go through a period of equilibrium. I would highly recommend, if you're watching this video, check out Human Design Gate 50, the Gate of Values, because the values are basically the foundation of how we go about deciding what we need to control. So when we know through our inner experiences what we now value, then we want to live towards having a virtuous life in regard those values. So it says soul training in the shamanic way happens through our life experiences. It may or may not involve official training as a shaman, but in some way you will be taught and guided by an initiated teacher. Training includes the experience of altered states of consciousness to feed the need of your soul to expand beyond the restrictions of everyday life and feel genuinely connected and supported by the vaster spiritual reality. So this, we know Saturn is in Pisces. People can be experimenting with plant medicines, and I would say do so responsibly. As with great power comes great responsibility, as Spider-Man says. My brother taught me that. My brother's a big Spider-Man buff. So yes, we can tap into these altered states. Imagine if the world is living at this frequency. Shamans need to live at this frequency in order to connect to source and bring this information down. And it's very hard if you're living on this dense material plane where people are arguing and fighting and doing all these things, to really want to be in this energy of like high vibrations, high frequency. When we can connect to things that bring us into altered states, whether it be meditation, bicycling, hot yoga, which is something I love to do, and the sauna. These are all ways that we can tap into our and ground and connect to the earth and tap into our inner authority. So to finish up, it says your altered states are fulfilling their intended purpose when they bring healing. So if it's not bringing healing and you're just doing stuff, then that's not necessarily maybe a path you should take. But if you are in altered states like meditation, deep yoga, and you're noticing it's helping you have greater empathy, greater joy, greater mindfulness in the world, then yes, this might be the message for you. When the right time is for you, when the time is right for you, Great Spirit will bring you the necessary guides and teachers in the spiritual and the physical worlds. And this is not necessarily promoting certain things, but this could be if you come in contact with a new plant or a new medicine, this could be a time where intuitively you're being guided to connect with it because something in your body needs it. Again, responsibly, and take that message in a way that is mindful for you and what you know your body needs. For me in particular, I came in contact with busy, which is a Jamaican plant. It's called the cola plant, and it's also known as go-to cola or the Asiatic pennyworth. So I saw someone post about it, and my mom actually had sent me it in raw form, and I didn't realize like this was the exact same plant that the person posted about it when they called it go-to cola. when I decided to find it, I took a tincture of it, and I've been loving it in tincture form and not so much in root form. And I'm sure it's great in both forms, but again, it's about working with plants in a way that works for you. And gotu kola in particular is really a plant that helps with muscular skeletal healing. And for someone who's gone through birth and postpartum, it's all about regenerating my muscles, because when you give birth and when you're just building a baby, growing a baby inside of you, you need a lot of calcium. So that means your bone density, you can lose a lot of bone density, and you could just become or feel weaker. So taking gotu kola for me in particular has been very regenerative, as well as like sea moss. You guys know I have an apothecary and make sea moss, so that's been also beneficial. So let's finish up. It says, this will increase your ability to hear spirit when you're able to be ready for the teacher that is coming. And it says, trust that your heart will recognize your true teachers. So the videos you're watching on YouTube, people that you are connecting to in person, trust who is really for you to connect to. If I say something or do something that you don't like, then that is completely fine. You can get off. If it is something that you connect to, then I am grateful and I'm so happy that you are on this fractal. And move through life like that, because we also have teachers for different seasons of our life, and not everyone is meant to be in our life for, or be our teacher for every season. Sometimes we're meant to teach them and vice versa. So with that, know that honor always your inner authority. So this book also has a healing process message, as you see right here. And I'm not going to do that message because I do want you guys to invest in the creator of this book. And I do feel like this video gave lots and lots of points and juicy information that you can sit with about your own healing purpose. And this is only to confirm the messages that you have given yourself. So I decided to hop on live real quick as I had a little bit of time and do this video, as you guys are still waiting for my full moon in Libra video. And part of it is I don't want people to be so caught up in waiting for messages, which I don't feel like my audience does at all, this collective over here. But I do want to know, I want you guys to know that whether a reader posts a message in a time frame you want to see it or not, that you're going to get the answer you need anyway. Having these other ways of connecting to source are just an example of how expansive the universe is, and how the universe uses every single one of us to be a guide, a connector, and an information bringer to this plane. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Indy is ready to come back home, so it's time for me to switch to mommy mode and get out of the oracle mode or guide mode, projector mode. I never get out of projector mode. I live it, you know, but you get what I mean. So I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you're just joining now, feel free to watch this video. It's pretty short. It's about 18 minutes long with tons of juicy info and oracle messages. So peace. The full moon in Libra video will be coming, as well as tons of vlogs. I want to catch you up on my hair. I want to catch you up. I have like 2 lock journey videos I want to post. A camping vlog. Me and Jack, I made some lemon pepper wings for him. Like, so I have such a vloggy fun stuff too. I just really want to make sure that I'm getting out this human design information, and information for just helping people hold themselves together and trust that their own guidance is correct, and that you can still create the world you want to see, whether the world shows you it or not. So I love you. Bye. Or I'll stay here forever.